In 1903, Marie Curie was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, the only woman and first person to win a Nobel Prize twice, and remains to this day the only person to win a Nobel Prize in two separate scientific fields. She pushed the boundaries of scientific knowledge in her time and also pushed the limits of women in science.
In August 1920, seemingly against all odds, the Polish army, led by General Józef Piłsudski, defeated the Red Army on the outskirts of Warsaw. The event became known as Cudna Wisła, or the very commonly Vistula in English. It served as a beacon of hope and inspired generations of people to come, suffering under the brutal Soviet regime, until finally they broke free from the Soviet sphere of influence with the Solidarność or Solidarity movement in 1989.
The Reconstruction era from 1863 to 1877 really demonstrated no limits, as those involved didn't allow racist societal norms to hinder their efforts in introducing equality for Black African Americans in post-Civil War American society.
On the 21st of February 1952, students at Dhaka University in Bangladesh were protesting for Bengali to become an official language. This protest led to nationwide movements for the recognition of Bangla to become the official language, and eventually in 1956 it was granted official status, and it was caused by these students that protested on this day.
The event I have chosen happened in 1968, and this is when Shirley Chisholm, an African American woman, got elected into Congress. This was happening around the time of the second wave of feminism in the USA and the civil rights movement, so I think this really encapsulates the theme of no limits.
My event is the Double V campaign, launched in 1942 by the Pittsburgh Courier to address the need to fight racial injustices domestically as well as fighting fascism abroad.
The date I chose was 1963. It was the year that Betty Friedan published Feminine Mystique, a book that helped spark the second wave feminist movement, something that still impacts women today.
In 1792, Mary Wollstonecraft publishes A Vindication of the Rights of Woman.
The year that I've chosen is 1918 because that was the year that women were given the right to vote. I've chosen this for the No Limits Challenge because to me it represents the fact that if you work for something and if you've got a passion for it, then you can achieve anything.
So my year is 1948, the formation of the National Health Service, which has proven that there are no limits when it comes to healthcare and how people are so amazing. So thank you to everyone who is in the National Health Service. You've been doing an amazing job for over the years, whether it's during COVID-19 or since the formation. So thank you, everybody.
I chose June 1969 as my time period, specifically the Stonewall Riots, because it was a movement that had no limits, and it really came from the fact that all these people of different races, creeds, from different areas came together for one single goal, and I feel like that best demonstrates the idea that when people come together, they really do have no limits.
The 21st of May 1986. This is the day that Middlesbrough Football Club was saved from liquidation and the gates to Ayresome Park, their old stadium, were unlocked.
I want to talk about a woman called Irina Sendler, also known as Irinakranovska. She was a Polish resistance fighter working in the Warsaw Ghetto to free Jewish children, provide them with families to care for them during the war, and also give them false documentation. She was arrested by the Gestapo after they found out that she was involved in this, arrested, tortured, and sent to be executed, but she never gave up the details of the children she had saved, hiding the names instead. Altogether, she saved 2,500 children from the Holocaust.
The birth of Marcus Aurelius in 121 AD, because he was an important and influential Roman emperor who wrote a private diary called Meditations, which has become a seminal text in the Stoic philosophy.
I'm choosing to do the year 1215, as it was the year that the Magna Carta was signed, which forms the cornerstone of what we know as democracy today. It also guaranteed freedom and civil liberties for the ordinary man, such as a free trial in courts, and limited the monarch's monopoly over the control of taxation.